Hey y'all, I'm back and today I'm going to be telling you guys 10 tips to survive your online classes. This is becoming a filming essential. I feel as though I'm pretty experienced in online classes. My last 2 years of high school, I took predominantly online classes. I took 2 really fast online classes this summer, and so I feel as though I'm well prepared and well equipped, and I've learned all the tips and tricks that you need to know to take and excel in your online classes. And don't forget to stick around for tip number 6 because that one is really controversial and I want to hear your opinions about it down below. A little housekeeping before we start into the video. Subscribe to my channel if you're new. Definitely like the video if you're excited to go back to school. I don't know, leave a comment down below of other videos that you'd like to see. So my first tip is to put yourself on a schedule. This is the most important thing I've learned while doing online classes. I want to do a little bit every day so you don't leave all your work till Sunday night. That is the worst thing you can do. You just create crappy work. And so I have my school hours and my non-school hours every day. And in my school hours, I'm literally just doing school, and in my non-school hours when I get other things done and I have time to relax. What I normally do is Monday through Friday, I work from about 9 or 10 to 4 or 5, and that gives me like a good, it gives me like 7 hours. It gives me a good like 7 hours, and it gives me a little bit of time in there to get lunch together right in the middle, and that's obviously something you have to do. So that's Monday through Friday. I work about 9 to 10 to 4 to 5. Obviously customize this for you and your schedule. And then Saturday I work from about 10 in the morning to 1 in the afternoon. This is a much shorter work day, but it's just like a little bit of like review time or getting extra things done that just didn't have time to get done during the week if there's an extra heavy course load. And then Sunday night I reserve for planning the coming week and making sure that I know what's due and I know what's coming and that I know what I'm going to be doing with my time, because the thing that makes me behind the most is not knowing what I'm going to do ahead of time, because then I have to waste time during the week planning what I'm going to do that day every single morning, and that just takes up a lot more time than you want it to. This tip works really well for me because planning ahead, planning my hours ahead of time makes me really want to push during those hours so I don't have to add any on beyond that. If it's finals week or something, I'll often have to, obviously work overtime. That's what finals is, but making sure I get all my stuff done in that hour of time and like having that cutoff for myself really makes me push myself and be more efficient and productive. My second tip is Google freaking Calendar. You guys, I am a Google Calendar mega fan. I use them for all my school, in person or not. Google Calendar is especially helpful for online classes because that's already an online format. And there are websites and apps and stuff where you can like upload your syllabus and it'll just import all your due dates into your Google Calendar. And it makes it so fast, and you can set reminders. That is the most important thing about using Google Calendar for your online classes. It's unreal how many times this has helped me. I always set a couple reminders, honestly. I'll set one for like a day before, I'll set one for a couple hours before, just to make sure that I do not miss a deadline. This will virtually eliminate the amount of times that you miss your deadline for classes, and it's immaculate. Forgetting assignments is one of the trickiest things about online classes, and this is just a savior. It's amazing. My third tip is that to-do lists are your friend. Every morning I go off of my Google Calendar and create a to-do list of what I think I can get done that day. I put down everything in little bits, whether it be, oh, I have to take the notes for this class, and I have to do the homework for this class, or I have a quiz to take, or discussion posts, replies, all that. It keeps me on track, it keeps me motivated. There's no better feeling than like checking something off your to-do list. I feel like I've posted up that on my story like so frequently because it's just like my favorite feeling. And just having that tactile thing sitting on your desk, like staring you in the face, like your to-do list right there, and it is beyond helpful. My fourth tip is to use YouTube videos as a primer. Depending on what class you're in, there's almost always a YouTube video or a crash course or something like that explaining the content of your online class. This saved my life when I took accounting this summer. I took an accelerated 7-week 3-credit class. It was absolutely insane. One of the big reasons I was able to survive it was accounting videos online. They explain it in more casual terms, and they have really good visuals, and they kind of help me to wrap my brain around the entire concept in like a macro sense before I dive into the textbook and the lectures that kind of flesh out the details. I think of it as like a warm-up for my brain because like I can't just go in cold and like learn everything. Like I don't know who can do that, but I surely can't. My fifth tip is going to be to get out of your room. This could mean a couple different things. I know I like to go and work out in the mornings. When I'm at school, I like to go to the gym and just either walk on the treadmill, lift some weights, any of that. I love spin. Since I've been home this summer and when spin was open, I was going to spin classes like almost every day because they're my favorite workout. Y'all know, I've talked about it. It can get really like exhausting for your brain and you won't be very productive working in your room all day, just sitting in one place. Your brain gets tired, you get tired, you want to take a nap. And the best thing you can do is just either go for a walk around wherever you are, or go to a gym and walk on the treadmill or run, like I've said. If you like really don't have time to like get moving, you can take your study materials to a new location, kind of get a fresh change of scenery. You can go to a library, you can go to a park, weather permitting, or you can go just to another room in your house even. Of course, wherever you're allowed to go with COVID and whatnot, a coffee shop is another one that I love to do. I feel so aesthetic and productive when I'm in a coffee shop, and it really helps me get a lot of stuff done. It helps me set the mood to get things done. Number 6, this is going to be a controversial one. I hate Quizlet, you guys. I hate it. It has never once actually helped me in school. The flashcard method, I think, is excellent. I think you should definitely use flashcards, but the flashcards really don't help you unless you're handwriting them. When you handwrite the flashcards, your brain actually takes in the information so much better than if you're typing it, or worse, copy pasting it. That's what I used to do when I used Quizlet, and it's not a great way to retain information. It makes it so much harder to learn the flashcards. In my opinion, you definitely shouldn't make Quizlets, and you definitely shouldn't just use somebody else's Quizlet because you're not going to learn anything. The way I use flashcards is I'll make a couple every week that just go along with the content of my class, and you try and write them in the way that your teachers write their test questions. If you know that, it's a little hard to know that before the first test, but as best you can, write them in like test question style, and that really helps you prepare and wrap your mind around what the test is going to be like. If you have a study guide, you'll often have example questions, and so you'll kind of know the direction to go in. And definitely be sure to work on this over time and not leave it all to the last second, because you honestly just can't remember all that information in any meaningful way at the last second. Number 7 is to make sure to connect with your classmates. This is something that happens pretty naturally in an in-class session, but when you're online, there was a lot of times where I literally didn't speak to one person in my class. Pretty much all the online classes I've taken at University of Arizona, someone will make a group meet and we'll be able to ask each other clarifying questions, remind each other of due dates. Tip number 8 is to try and stay ahead as much as possible. I did this in the 2 summer classes I took this summer. I was always about 2 days ahead of due dates, and it literally helped my stress so much. It gave me a buffer time if I was having trouble understanding a subject. I think it really saved me when I was taking those classes, because being a little bit ahead just allows you that like extra room in your brain to kind of breathe and like slowly take up the information instead of having to like quickly take your notes and do the homework assignment or something like that. Tip number 9, you need to know what time of day you work best. I personally work best in the mornings. I just have extra focus, I'm more motivated, I'm excited about the day. Mid-afternoon I kind of hit a slump. Evening, and then late at night I'll pretty often get like this random burst of motivation, and that's when I'll run through a lot of like my smaller tasks like discussion post replies, things like that. I'll often get done like 9, 10, 11 at night because I just have this extra burst of motivation before I go to bed. I want to like get a couple extra things done, and so I schedule out my workday in a way that maximizes the times that I'm productive, and it allows me to do other things like get around and get moving in the times where I'm a little more tired and a little more of a slump. And number 10, this is one you've probably heard before, but it's so true. Don't be afraid to reach out to your professor. I always felt bad like reaching out with like little tiny questions. I was like, oh, they're gonna be so annoyed, this is so dumb. But I still did it just because I needed the answer to the question. More often than not, they really appreciate the initiative. Like building that relationship with that professor can come in handy when it comes time. If you need a rec letter for grad school or a reference for a job, they'll be able to talk about how you take initiative and how you actively engaged in the class. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you learned something from these tips. I hope they're gonna help you out. I think that a lot more people are going to be in online classes because of COVID. These can apply whether you're in college or high school or anything. Online classes are definitely have a learning curve to them, so if you struggle at first, do not worry. You get the hang of it and you learn to just kind of be more diligent and check into your class every day to make sure you're not missing any deadlines. But until then, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have an awesome day and I will see you again soon. Bye!